evening. Welcome to Not Another Rangers podcast. Sorry we're a couple of minutes late. All will become clear in a moment. We will talk about football, but first I'm going to pass you over to Scott for the quick announcement.
Hi everybody. I'm just talking about Friday night. The live show is still going ahead. It was supposed to be a fundraiser for my dog Walter, but unfortunately Walter passed away on Saturday night. He got rushed to a hospital the back of 10 Saturday night. He collapsed in the back garden. There was nothing they could have done for me because obviously he had terminal cancer. And since then I've not been great. Life's not been great. Nobody has been great in the household, to be fair, and we were all missing him really so much. It's unbelievable. It's people say he's a dog, but to be honest with you, he wasn't a dog to me. He was like my boy. Do you know? He was my child. That's how I looked at him. But just say we're still doing Friday night, but it's going to be a kind of memorial to Walter. I know it's not about a dog in general, but just in case I didn't say a fundraiser, I was just saying this is a night for Walter, just so I can remember him, so my family can remember him, and anybody that's going there, I'm more than happy to talk away and we'll have a drink and raise a glass to everybody it's passed away, but I'll raise my glass to my dog because that only happened in the other day and my head's been on a day since then, so I just thought I would let everybody know just before we start the football, okay?
Thanks, Scott. And as we've said to you, myself, Ricky and Ross and everybody on the pods, our condolences. It was a difficult time for you, and it's the football means nothing today. So, however, as we will talk about the football, Scott's seen bits of it and patches of it. Ricky's seen lots of it, so you'll hear his dulcet tones a lot more possibly over the next hour. And in a pod, so we appreciate, and it's obviously sad. You're not tuning in to talk about sadness, so we'll try and make the pod enjoyable. Talk about football, same as we will do the live show. So, our condolences, Scott and his family. So, as Scott says, a live pod still on Friday night at Oswald. I'll give that a quick plug just now. Lots of prizes, including, Scott, you'll need to tell me as we go through this. A signed Steven Gerrard top being one of them. I'm hopefully get an Ian Durrant signed retro shirt, all being well, if I can get it signed in time. Not by me, by Ian Durrant, obviously. They're real. And some other gifts. Scott, is there anything else off the top of my head?
Yeah, well, it's a Steven Gerrard signed shirt that we got when Scott donated it from the pod. We got it. He got it in his first season when he arrived, but it's just signed by him. It's signed by the whole squad, which is good. Obviously, there's a few players left there, like your favourite Tavernier, Gary. But that's no bidding. It's in the people. You have to buy a ticket, Gary, to get in the raffle. Buy a raffle ticket. If you buy a raffle ticket, Gary, aye. So we get that. We've got a Alan McCoy and Walter Smith signed 40. We've got a bottle of Rangers gin. We've got some Rangers legend managers coasters, and we've got, if I can find it, an Alfredo Morelos shirt, but I can't. It's up the loft somewhere. Someone have to try and find that. I don't know what size it is, to be honest with you. And hopefully a couple of wee bits and bobs, and obviously more bottles of alcohol. We'll get a couple of bottles of non-alcoholic ones as well, because I know everybody drinks, not so, and whatever else we can find. So, and there's a print a painting Alan McCoy that's coming, but that was gifty, so we want to see if we can maybe put that in an auction, but we'll see how the night goes. It depends if people see it, it just depends interest, but that came from the Rangers Charity Foundation, not from him directly. It was somebody bought it a few years ago from Rangers Charity at an auction night, and they've kindly passed it on to myself. So it was actually my sister done it too. I didn't want to drop names there, but it was actually my sister gave me it. So, but that cost me a bit of money at the time. Now we're not looking for a lot of money back for it, but she said she would kindly donate it, so somebody could have opportunity, maybe offer some money for it and hang it on the wall as a cracking painting, right enough. So whatever else is there, Gary, we'll have a fun night. We'll talk about Rangers, good, bad, and ugly, and we'll just have a laugh. That's what it's all about. At the end of the day, there's guys coming, let's say, we've no met, and whoever else comes along, and unfortunately Ricky can't be there, but he'll be there in spirit because I know he will, and we'll just make a good night of it. I'm looking forward to it myself, and just to meet folk, but just to see how it goes, because it was great for Oswald's giving us a place in the first place. So they've been great, and they've been really good at helping us out, and they're going to do other stuff for us one night. So there's a few other people coming from, let's say, other podcasts. I don't want to name names just in case they don't turn up, but you just have to attend to see who else comes.
Yeah, So as Scott says, a special guest. Ross will be here, which will be good as well, because Ross struggles to make for Monday and Friday night, so it'll be good. He's hopefully going to be there, and some other special guests on the evening. However, I'm well aware there's hundreds upon hundreds of people that aren't going to be able to make it. So you want to talk about the football. What I'll say, just while in my head, is we will probably record the show at the live pod and probably put it out either later that night or the next day. I think that's right, Scott.
The only thing is, Gary, who's going to record it? Because I'm not got a Scooby-Doo about digital stuff. The only person that kind of knows about that is Ricky, but he's about 5,000 miles away.
We'll work something out.
I don't even have access to the passwords.
We don't let you get access to it anyway.
I know. And you've got the Christmas badge in the right-hand corner, you pair of dorks. So
at Christmas time, okay,
it saves us putting it back up in December, Ricky.
Yeah, and you'll need to keep Gary away from that Gerrard shot, or Tavernier's autograph will be whipped off the shirt by the time somebody wins that.
But somebody wiped anyway, probably. Listen, anyway. So Ricky, moving on to yourself. Oh, he's disappeared. He's back. Yeah. So Ricky, you were away somewhere interesting in the last couple of hours. So tell the audience where you've been.
Yeah, no, just I got invited to Apoel versus Pavos, who won the Cypriot League last weekend. So an interesting evening. I got wine and dine VIP treatment, so it was very nice, good, enjoyable. It was an end of season match. It finished 1-1. Apoel missed a penalty with 5 minutes to go, but it's always nice to go and watch a live game. So I really enjoyed myself. And the standard, they were asking about yesterday, a few of the fans and stuff like that. So I had to tell them lies and no burst their bubbles about how he's been. But no, it was good, enjoyable evening. I love watching live football, so I really enjoyed it.
Do you get many games actually? Do you very rarely get to go to the games?
No, well, this is a new friend of mine that invited me, so I'll be going to a lot more matches. I've been to a few before when they were in the Europa League and stuff like that, because it's enjoyable. I love watching any live football, but I'm more of an Apoel's more like Rangers and Ammonia's more like Celtic. They obviously had Lennon as the manager a few years ago, but he enjoyed the Cypriot beer a little bit much allegedly when he was over here. So he was a bit of a banger when he was in Cyprus. Surprise, surprise. But it's enjoyable. It's always good to get, especially in the sun. You get a beer in that at the match as well. So that always makes it a little bit enjoyable. Sit and have a beer in the sun and watch some football. You can't beat it,
man. Not if your rivals in the first half and Sunday, to be fair. When you're sitting in the sun enjoying it, there was no enjoyment of football happening there, which we will come on to now. So Scott watched bits of it. Ricky watched all of it. I had to sit through it all at the game. And we'll kind of talk through some of the different aspects of the next few period now. So I suppose I'm going to stick with you, Ricky, right? So I suppose my question to start off was around the team lineups. So there's been a bit of a debate around youth versus experience, or whether they should be going with those that may be here next year. And I'm not sure how people could tell who they may be, versus just going out to win the game. Were you surprised with the team lineup, which was the same one that played against Celtic the week before?
It's a good question. Surprised with Mr. Barry Ferguson? Not so much surprised, but every pod and every vlog I've watched from people that were at the match, we were all of the same opinion. More annoyed because, okay, the season's over and everything like that, and we've got nothing to play for. But Gary, the performances have been absolutely awful. So why not try something different? You can't keep talking the talk at press conferences and telling us how this player's not doing enough and this player needs to do better and this player's this and this player's that, and then you keep picking the exact same lineup. And yeah, of course, it's no surprise that Barry does have his favourites and stuff like that, but it's a team sport, and the performances, the second half, that 45 minutes is the first time we've had a decent 45 minutes under Ferguson in a long time. And the first half in that lineup was just more so boring to watch. And he's got to change it up, Gary, even for the matches that are coming up now. He keeps on wanting to give certain players so many minutes, and they keep letting them down, and it's so frustrating. I cannot wait for next season to see a new Rangers lineup with some fresh players, and I hope it's mostly fresh players in that lineup, because I am sick of the sight of these players and sick of the sight of watching us try and play football in Scotland. How we've got in a position where we're so boring to watch, and so tepid as that first 45 minutes, I will never know. And we need a freshness for next season, because we can't go through another season of watching pish like this every week, going every 3 days watching the same garbage. It's got to change.
I'm going to start you, Ricky, just briefly, because obviously I don't want to fling questions at Scott when he's not seen the bit. I suppose what interested me was the formation he played. Now, I don't know what it was like watching the TV, but he went with the diamond formation again. So
again, yeah,
sitting deep. Then you've got Raskin and Igamene's number 8s with Bayrami playing behind. But even then, the strange, slightly bizarre, Dessers that same pulling away left and Cherny pulling away right. And it was just exactly done against Celtic, which surprised me given the fact that Aberdeen play a totally different way.
And we've got no runners, Gary. I watched a great interview with Arne Slot when they beat Leicester a few weeks ago. And it was very interesting what he said about his Liverpool team. He says the most important thing for him is deep runners into the box. That is what makes it very difficult to defend against. And with the Liverpool players he's got, he's one for, he wants as many players as he can charging into that box when Liverpool's attacking, right? That first half, you're right, he played a diamond, and still the players there's no patterns of play. Every time Yefte is isolated on the ball, he's the one always that's in the position to cross the ball. And we all know how that ends when Yefte's in a position to cross the ball. Honestly, I like it. That goal he scored was just summed Yefte up. It was brilliant, because all season, every time, and there's nobody in the box at both sides. Tav put a couple of delicious balls into the box, as he always does. A great one for Dessers, but most of the time the commentator noticed it as well. Dessers is the only guy in the box, and it's like, Rangers, what are you doing? What are we trying to do here? Now, obviously, that completely changed in the second half, and we'll be positive about the second half display. But what are we setting out to do as a team? And it doesn't matter if you're playing 5-3-2 or you're playing diamonds. And Comont was the same. Why is our players always standing in the same positions? The movement is absolutely terrible. We're so easy and static and easy to defend against. It's criminal. And again, the new manager that comes in, he's got to change that. Because you saw in the second half, when there is a bit of movement, Cherny going inside completely changed their performance. Then this team can play, and it's a complete different performance.
Yeah. Scott, you were nodding your head there. Do you know, I think, and I've watched over the last couple of games, we don't put anybody in the box. Dessers is the only one in the box. And actually, if you're, I'm pretty sure if you do a heat map, much as you'll disagree with me, the only other person that's often in the box is Tav. To be honest with you, Cherny's very, very rarely in the box, as is Bayrami. So I think that's one of the biggest issues we've had all season, is there's nobody in the box. And unless you're doing super crosses every single time, you're never going to hit a one-man.
You aren't, Gary, but sometimes you just have to put it in there, don't you? And your striker's going to make that run. Sometimes it's not so much how good the ball is. If it's a half-decent ball, striker still has to move or run across the front of defenders, which sometimes Dessers doesn't do, kind of hides behind them. But I thought the first half of what I seen, I watched the highlights back, and I thought that was too slow. The shape doesn't work. It maybe works against Celtic because they line up, like you said, they line up differently. Aberdeen are hopeless. Aberdeen are poor. Celtic's going to take about 6 off them in the final. Aberdeen are awful, man. Apart from Shinnie mouthing at the referee constantly, do nothing else. But they're poor. But I thought we were poor in the first half. To be honest with you, the changes they made helped. The substitutions this time worked. And I thought when you seen him bringing on Igamane, Dessers upped his game slightly. I thought Cherny did as well. I thought Bailey Rice done really well. I thought Diamante was poor again. I thought he'd done a few things good, but in the highlights, but he doesn't do enough in games like this. And this is where I criticise him, because he can do it, but he doesn't. I don't know why he doesn't do it, Gary. Maybe you know, but we see him in Europe and he's superb against teams who are a lot better, players who are a lot better. But in games like this, he struggles. Whereas I thought Raskin came on a game, I thought he started slow, but he came on a game and he played really well. He got 2 assists, but I thought Conor Barron overall was probably our best midfielder, because he was doing the simple stuff and winning the ball back, but he was doing it really well. And that's what his job was. It wasn't to be fans, it wasn't to beat 2 men to a 50-yard pass. He was just winning the ball back and playing the simple balls to other players in the team who could do stuff. And that's all you can ask for your number 6. I know a lot of people like a 6 to spray a ball about like a quarterback, like kind of type of way, but Conor Barron, I thought, done that really well, I have to say. Listen, Tav done okay for me, Defensively, he's still poor, and defensively I wouldn't have him next season, but I thought he'd get forward, and he's always going to try and get into the box because that's all he's done in his career. I mean, he started out as a winger, so he's always going to try and get into the box, and he's scored a lot of goals throughout his career. Just obviously his legs can't get him up and down as much now. That's how the goals are kind of dried up. But Tierney was good as well, I have to say. I thought he didn't. As a winger like Tierney, you're never going to be consistently good every game. Wingers are inconsistent, but it's what they do when they're involved. And Tierney does everything when he's involved. He gets assists and he gets goals. You can't really ask any more for a winger. But no, I think Barry Ferguson started with the wrong team, Gary. I thought he went with his... Every manager has a favourites, no matter who manager is. Either new manager come in, he'll have his favourites as well. But I would have played more of the younger guys. But I think he wanted that monkey off his back. The Balogun said after the match, monkey off the back or something, about a win at Ibrox or something.
Maybe something he said, didn't he? Is that,
yeah. So maybe he's wanted that because he didn't want to be in this position. He's not at Ibrox. So I think he thought was his strongest side. To me, it's not, because you've got Barami, who's looks like he'd rather be elsewhere than be on a football park. But once he changed it, he done it. But what I don't get with Ferguson is he criticises Igamane constantly. Maybe he's a bit like me with Diamandi. Maybe he just thinks there's more there and he should be doing better.
Yeah.
I'm like with Diamandi. I think there's a lot more there with Diamandi, and he should be doing it more. He should be giving more in each game, whereas maybe Ferguson thinks that way. Again, man, he should be scoring more, creating more, getting involved more. So I can see a bit of that, but no, once the substitutes help. But I thought Bear Eyes done me only come on as well.
So you sticking there with Bayrami, so I was just to ask you a question. So obviously you get taken off at half time, pretty heavily criticised. He struggled throughout this season. I suppose lots of players have struggled in the first year. There's no doubt the guy's got technical ability. Yeah. Do you think there's a potential that there may be a role for him in the future from next season under the right manager, I suppose, right formation?
To be honest with you, Gary, I think you'd rather go back and play in the Serie A or Spain, whereas it's more technically better, but it's maybe a bit slower. I don't think he likes a hustle and bustle of Scottish football. Playing against guys he knows who he's better than, as in technical ability, footballing ability, but as in attitude and work rate, he's probably not, because that's not his game. So he doesn't want to get kicked up and down a park or somebody pressed on him constantly. He can mark folk at times, which he's done, but that's playing against a team who are probably the best in Scotland at this moment in time because they win the league. But against players lesser ability, he struggles badly. So I think if you asked him when he was honest, I think he'd probably say, I would rather be back playing warmer climate as well, right enough, but I'd rather be back playing in Italy or Spain or something like that.
It's not a warmer climate here. It's roasting here, Scott, at the moment. Now you should be loving life here. Ricky, I'm going to whiz by the first half. The first half is pretty poor, so I'm going to get you pick up on the kind of three incidents people have been talking about in the chat. So with Dessers with this customary miss, from a great ball for Tav. He had the Bayrami red card, potential red cards, and we had the Dessers offside goal. So I've seen thing in the comments, right, about Dessers' goal should have stood because the Aberdeen player got touched in it. And I thought there was a thing about control of a deliberate action or something like that. I wasn't sure. Anyway, you can talk.
Yeah. No, you're right. It has to be. It's only if it's a deliberate action, and because he was stretching, that means that he was the way that the ball went off his foot wasn't a deliberate action, so it was rightly chopped off for offside. I mean, what do you want to say? The sitter was a clear. He should have scored. I mean, that's pretty obvious. It was a clear header right in the middle of the goal. And the sending off, I mean, it should have been a sending off. It was a high tackle, studs right through his leg. If that was a Rangers player, I'm sure you would get the.
Raked down his leg.
I am sure you're going to hear the weekly Willie column with Mr. Gordon saying, "Oh, it was a bad mistake again. Should have been a red card." Like, okay, fantastic, Willie. 15th time this season you've got one against Rangers, and what good does that do us? Do we get 15 points back now for all these decisions? So it should have been a red card for sure. But Gary, the performance in the first half, and like the hilarious thing for me is just to add to it, right? The performance was so bad again in the first half. We don't look like a football team. The second half was amazing. It was complete 180 from that first half, but it was slow. There's no runners. The fullbacks are in position, especially Yefte. I mean, Yefte he's been 3 out of 10 for months. He actually had a 5 out of 10 game. I'm going to give him that because he was actually involved in the play until he gets to the final part and his final ball's minced. But he wasn't giving the ball away so much. And he was actually, like when he first came to Rangers, zipping the ball about and getting up the park. But the problem is when he's always in that position, his final ball is just... And I was speaking to my mate tonight, and he said the same. He says, I bet he keeps getting in great positions, but he doesn't use his brain. He just it's like he malfunctions when he gets in that position. But Barry Ferguson's comments that he thinks that the reason that we played amazing in the second half was because he gave them a rollicking at half time. Come on, Barry. Like, really? Have you not worked out that these players do not... How many games have you gave these players a rollicking? They do not... It doesn't matter what... They just switch off. As soon as he starts bawling and shouting at them, calling them this and calling them that, it was nothing to do with that. He got super lucky with substitutions at half time, because Bajrami was absolutely terrible. I completely agree with Scott. He doesn't want to be in Scotland. He's got the talent. He's a talented footballer, and he'll probably go wherever he goes, and he'll play well, and he'll enjoy 1 and 3 good performances in the sun. But he's not a Rangers player. He doesn't have that mentality to do it every single week when it's cold, when it's this, when it's that. But we got lucky because he was so bad in the first half. We had to take him off, and it was actually moving Cherny to the middle. Igamane had a good half, but moving Cherny into the middle was what changed the performance, because Raskin then had space, and he was fantastic in midfield in the second half. And then also what happened was Aberdeen, the manager, had a complete brain fart. I think he went sort of like 4-4-2, put 2 strikers up front, and then left a whole heap of space for Rangers to just play right through the middle, which was... in the first half, all the middle of the pitch was blocked off and was stodgy. Second half, it was wide open. It was madness from their manager. So that's what happened and changed everything in the second half. It wasn't to do with Barry giving the players a rollicking, which I'm like, oh my God, Barry. Yeah, there you go, 2-year contract. The rollickings will get us to the title, mate.
No, you're right. And that's a fair point. Aberdeen bizarrely brought on Nisbet and somebody else, I can remember, and then changed their tactics and left big wide open spaces for the set, which we obviously then took advantage of. The fact Cherny moved into number 10, if you want to call it that, and Igamane went to left. I suppose, do you know what I was thinking? As a complete aside, the fact that we played Dessers last 2 games, so I obviously like, and he scores goals, he will always score goals, but his game isn't... Igamane's game actually is to drift to the left, which actually would suit him in some ways, but that's slightly ironic. We've not done that until half time there. So
I just like to say, I've just seen a tweet for the Madrid zone. I don't know if you've seen it. They tweeted it 8 minutes ago.
Right.
Now, it's an independent Real Madrid hub. They've got 1.4 million followers. I don't know if it's... I mean, Ricky's saying no. I'm only going with somebody sent me, and they say that Francesco Mauri is joining Rangers along with David Ancelotti to be assistant manager and manager. Ricky's like that. Listen, I'm only going, and quite a lot of people are saying it is a thing.
His dad just got given Brazil.
He did, but he doesn't want to go.
No, he's off to... Are you joking, man? Where you'd rather go, Governor Rio?
He wants to be his own manager. No, I was actually watching a Real Madrid hang Ellen. It was an English one, and they were saying that they've heard he doesn't want to stay at Madrid. He doesn't want to go with his dad. He wants to... Because Como, Italy will link them as well, but he wants to be his own manager because he feels he's been assistant manager long enough. He wants to...
I heard that. I heard the opposite. I heard that was that had been... Some Paul McCormickle's put it as well. They were saying that was... He said that he's going to Brazil with his dad and he didn't understand. Anyway, we will find out, Kerr, soon enough.
He has had some career, you know. He's had some career, Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, Everton, and I can't remember what the other team is, but he's done well. He's obviously a really good assistant manager already. It's nothing to do with the fact his dad's gave him every job. I'm assuming it's purely because his quality as a coach.
Get Darren Ferguson in. Get Darren Ferguson in. He's a better shout.
I know.
Big Duncan Ferguson.
That Ferguson's a decent manager that's never going to get the credit he deserves. He's still kicking about doing, I don't know where it is, Peterborough or whatever.
He's back at Peterborough for the 4th or 5th time. He's back at Peterborough.
He's always done well. So going into the second half then Scott. So Igamane comes on. We'll just talk briefly about Igamane. So I think, as you said, Barry Ferguson's probably critical of him because he's a maverick. He does good things and bad things. I think, in fact, even before his wonder goal, he probably should have he should have passed the ball through to somebody that scored. He picks the wrong option a lot, but his skill at times has, I suppose, off the cuff nature, and that wonderful goal that he scores.
That's what it is. He's still got a lot to learn. I know people say he's only a kid because he has 21, 22, but he's still raw as in first team football wise, especially at a higher level. Listen, this is what you get for players like this. He's got that rawness that if you take that away from him and try to mould him, you're going to take away what he offers, because he does things that nobody else even think about. And that goal, as soon as he took a touch, he waited and waited and waited till it was at a very good height to smack it. He didn't just smack it straight away. That's the things he does. He doesn't score easy goals, man. I don't think he could be a 6 yards. I don't think he could be a punitive like a 6 yard. But I approach like Tony Cotty. I always go back to Tony Cotty.
That's a name for the past.
Shows you my age, Gary. I always go back to Tony Cotty, Alan McCoy. That kind of poacher. Even McCoy was born a poacher at times, but I don't think he's that type of player. You say he likes to draft, but to score goals like that, if I had dropped to somebody else, they would have took a touch and looked for a pass. But he didn't want to do that. He thought, nah, I'll take a touch and bang it because I know I can maybe score for here. Don't get me wrong, me talking maybe should have done better because I thought you got a hand tip but not enough. But that's the things he does, and I can't get why he's not played more games. I just, because of somebody with that rawness and somebody with that off. I mean, Gaza had a bit of that, didn't he? I'm not comparing to Gaza. I'm just saying if he took a lot of stuff away from Gaza's game, he wasn't the same. So you let him do things himself. And Igame's got that, and there's only certain players that's got it. Now, I don't know what kind of career he's going to have. I think he'll go somewhere else and do really well, and I think we'll get more money for him than we bought him for. But don't try to mould him or stereotype him into a certain player and say, you play here, nowhere. Just let him roam. That's what he does best. Let him know about the park, pick up the ball. Because he can link up play, he can make runs, he holds the ball up really well, he's strong. And he does have shots and target. And he scores a lot of good goals, Gary. Do you know what I mean? Some of the goals he scores, I think, wow, where'd that come from? Because, and to have a player like that is really good to, and a squad ours, because our squad's not the best at this moment in time. But to have something like that, but Barry Ferguson criticised him, like I said earlier, but I know him and Dessers aren't the same, and I know Dessers' stats, he's scored nearly 50 goals in 2 seasons, whatever. And that is good going, and they could probably play better together than they do 1-on-1. But I just think he has to be involved, especially up here, because against packed defences and against teams who sit, he can do something that can create a chance and score a goal, whereas others go back to the pass to side, wide, side to side. Igamane takes a touch and goes, fuck it, I'm going to shoot and bang, and it's a goal. Do you know what I mean? So sometimes that's what you need, and I think we're trying to show him into positions and just let him roam, let him be, but play the boy. Don't keep him in the bench. Don't keep him caged up. He'll get frustrated and say, fuck you, I'm going elsewhere.
You just reminded me there of Brian Laudrup, and I'm not comparing it to any player, he's going to be it, but Brian Laudrup's when Walter just say, just go where you want to park in it, go and get the ball, do things, and that's your job. So other people cover the spaces round about you. I think that was but football's not like that anymore. Football's all about staying in your position, do these things. I
think football's changing. If you look at some teams now, Gary, into Milan, PSG, I think the Pep style's starting to get phased out, and it's no more. It's actually getting back to where football should be instead of this tippy-tappy nonsense. It's getting back to proper football, back and forward, a lot of bit of passion, goals. None of this pass for 120 times before we have a shot at goal. That's just nonsense. It's boring.
And Gary, if we play as we have over the last 10 years with this 4-3-3 with 2 sitters, we always play our say 4-2. 4-2-3-1 is like Rangers have always played, and fans have said, oh, you need 2 sitters. Then surely if you've got the stability with the 4 and the 2, that the 3 should be able to interchange and go into any position. Because what changed the game on Saturday, 100%, was Černý in the number 10 position. I mean, for me, I cannot believe with the players we're being linked that fans don't want to keep Černý for $6 million. For me, it's an absolute no-brainer. I would sign that guy. He gave us all a heart attack with his 2 ACL stories at the weekend. But him in that 10 position, that's what I said to him. You'll get an ACL straight away as soon as he signs. But him in that 10 position with 2 wingers and then being able to interchange, that's what you need to be able to do in Scotland. That's the problem with us. And that was what was the most frustrating thing under Coman. and we hoped that Ferguson was going to change that, was we were too static and we were too easy to defend against and play against, because that's how you beat teams in Scotland, especially that play the low block. You've got to play fast tempo football with players moving, with runners, and you can keep your number 9, a player like Dessers, you can keep your number 9, Igamane, moving about a little bit. It doesn't matter, but if they 3 players are changing and you've got your fullback supporting as well, you've got enough stability behind that. But Rangers don't play that way. It's so static and boring, and players not moving and standing in the same position. It's so frustrating to watch.
Yeah, definitely. And then with the I suppose Dessers does get his customary goal. You know, whatever people say about him, he keeps going, he keeps running, keeps trying, and does get a goal for a lovely ball for Raskin. Actually, I didn't know Raskin had the 2 assists in him. It's not really been part of his game. He's often criticised, Scott. So I'm going to come to you because you never criticise him, much the same way I don't criticise Tav. But he's not known for his assists or his passing ability. He's known for his running and his energy and all the stuff that goes with it. But 2 really good bits of play.
I think it just depends who's been told to play. We put him all at positions in the 6, haven't we? And he's been sitting more. I think when you let him, give him more freedom, like because Barryman's there, and he's been told to maybe go a bit more forward. You can see he can run into box. The pass for Chernigold was superb, and then the cutback for Dessers was a good cutback as well. I mean, he sold the boy a dummy and cut it back, and that's what he's got in his game. But again, he has to be more consistent, and I think he is getting better. But he's another one where we don't know if he'll be here next season because he obviously his contract situation and all that stuff. I think when you're short from a deal and say to him, when we're signing a year, we'll keep you for a year, and then if any offers come in, we'll let you know, blah, blah, blah. Just something similar we done with Loudrop years ago, and he was going to go and give him an extra year, and then he went to Chelsea. Obviously, we don't let Raskin leave for nothing, but I still get 2 years to go at the end of next season, and you can look at offers. So I think there's more to come, and I think we could get a bit more money for him. But at the end of the day, as in football nowadays, the ball's always at the footballers' feet. The balls, they know they can not pick the move, but they can tell the club, no, stay or go, whatever. If you want to sell me, I'm not leaving, stuff like that. So I think it's just up to him. But I agree with Ricky. I think I've been back and forth with this with Cherny, but just because of the money. But the money to me, I put it to the side, and I think we know what he offers, we know what he can do, and you know, just a moments where he gets involved, and teams know that. And if we had somebody similar on our side, or somebody another 2 with him, like maybe like we said when he came on, he put in the centre, somebody else teams can mark, then they don't have to put 2 men on Cherny because there's somebody else in the park it can do others, like maybe Igamane. So no, but I don't know if he will stay. I think he will have offers for maybe England, Spain, or whatever, but he's not said no, he's not said yes, but I think we should go and make something. He might not want to come back, you never know. He's said himself, this is the most he's played for a long time because of injuries and because of situations. So he's played over 50 games, which is a lot for somebody who's not played that football for a while, who's had injuries. What is he, 27? So he's hitting his kind of peak. And does he want to stay in Scotland, or will he maybe move to Spain or England where maybe he can get double, maybe even 3 times the wages, and thinks, well, that'll do me for a couple of seasons, I can retire off of that? Or does he come to Rangers? And you can't even say nowadays, come to Rangers, win trophies. No, we've not won much for years, but I think we should go and make something before him anyway. I don't think we should let him go because I think it'll be more difficult to replace him because I think they're taking a chance on somebody, but we know what he can do, and he's no old.
No, do you know what? It's funny enough. I was talking to my daughter in the first half of the game. I was saying we shouldn't be keeping Cherny because he was dreadful in the first half. If I'm being honest with you, he was really poor out in the right. But then second half, as you said, Joe, you're then at the end of the game, Joe does things. He makes moments. He's involved in the chances that we create. So he is one of those players that's you're not going to get fantastic things at him all game, as you never got at David Cooper or Loudrop or any guy. That doesn't happen. But he does create things, and about 18 goals, however many assists. I think if you can get 5-6 million, isn't a lot of money? Paid 6 million for a guy that sits on the bench every week and doesn't come on, so it's not as if it's out of our ballpark.
And 4 million for his mate Cortez, like that's a game because he can't apply himself in training by all accounts.
Yeah, but no, he's been brilliant, Cherny, and I think that I can see him in a really good Rangers team. Like you look at the players that we've got in our team right now, and the only 2 I would really love to start in a really good Rangers team would be Cherny and Raskin. Okay, we've got others like Rice and that. I really like Rice. I can see huge potential in him as well. But for me, Cherny's always been for a long time now has been a no-brainer for me. He's played way too many games this season, but he's had to because his backup is Ross McCausland, who, let's be honest, is no good enough and has never been good enough to play for Rangers. So Czerney's had to carry all that burden. And for a guy that's been injured so much in the past, he's been available like so much this season as well. Now, will that continue? That's obviously a concern because at his age, if we do go and pay 5-6 million for him and he does get injured, it would be a disaster. But that's looking at it in a slightly negative, putting a negative slant on it. For me, I would love Czerney to stay. And I actually liked what Ferguson said about Raskin after the match. And this is one of the things I think Ferguson has got right, because Raskin came back into the team in the number 6 position and he was unbelievable. He was brilliant in the number 6 position. But Ferguson seen and said to him, mate, you are wasted with your talent you've got just now in the 6th position. You can play further forward and influence the match. And I think he's had 8 assists since Ferguson's been the manager, which is a great return. And Raskin's actually a really dynamic midfielder that you can put him in the performance with a Rice, and they can actually change positions from the 6. So say Rice is having a bad game in the 6 and Raskin's struggling further forward, they give you that flexibility to be able to switch them in a match and change them around to see if that works. So to have that sort of players like that can play 2 positions in your midfield would be unbelievable in the future. I think we've got a chance of keeping Raskin on a long-term deal. I would hope that we would get him something like we'd be able to give him an extra 3-4 years, but he won't stay for that period of time. But we'll say to him, we'll build the team around you. If a Premiership team comes in and offers over, I don't know, before everyone goes mental, let's say 15-20 million, then Rangers will accept that and you'll be able to move on. We'll shake hands and say it's been great for both of us. If Rangers can do that with Raskin, that's what I would be looking to do, because he's a player that is just... And you've seen it in all the last Old Firm games, as much as they go on about their players and stuff like that. Raskin is the midfielder that stood out and has bossed their games when we've been having this good run against Celtic. So he's a player that I would like to see keep also for next season and build the team around. And Czerney as well, no-brainer for me.
No, it's interesting, you know, and was it 6 months ago, Raskin couldn't get a game, and for the previous 6 months before that, he was struggling badly. So things can change for any player, so hopefully there is...
can, but he was injured, to be fair to him. He was injured and he was overweight, and he said that himself. He wasn't being professional enough. So he can be an example for other players in that dressing room, because he admitted he worked out all the problems himself, why he was getting injured, because he was eating crap food, because he was... And I do that myself. We probably all do it. You try to think, right, I'm going to have a healthy week, and then before you know it, you're 3 takeaways in for the week and you're eating crap by accident. So for him, he's managed to work their problems out himself, so he's been mature enough to do that. So fair play to Raskin for sorting that situation out himself.
No, I'd agree. I don't disagree, and I suppose I've just making the point that players that are struggling just now, there is potential for some of them. Some of them may be better, some of them may not as the season goes on. And we covered Jeffrey's goal earlier on, so that was his first goal and first assist. Well, 1 goal, 1 assist he's now got this season. So then took a leaf out of Dessers' book. I'm sure Dessers scored a number of goals like that off his backside or off his side. Deflected. I remember one against Matondo last season, potentially. But Jeffrey got the goal, wrapped up a convincing one, probably the most convincing one of the season. I want to pick up some bits maybe that came from the press conference. So Scott Cortes and Danilo, arguably, and a number of other players, but they made the point that these guys aren't doing enough in training to justify a place effectively.
Yeah, I heard that bit from Barry Ferguson, and is that the truth? We don't know. We don't see training, but he does, and that's his opinion. They might tell you a different story, but the way you look at it is they need to do more to get involved. Both of them need to do. They've cost us a lot of money, and it's part of £10 million for these 2 guys. Do you know what I mean? It's a lot of money. But until they're probably sitting back thinking 2 more games and he's away, the new manager comes in and I can start again, a fresh start with a new guy. And Ferguson's thinking, well, you're not doing enough for me, so you're not getting involved in any games until I'm away. But listen, Danilo come on and he half them puff, they tried. Cortes is a strange one. He's a young boy. You would think he'd a bit of, I don't know, just to show everybody what he's made of again. He's not really done a lot. He came on loan, he done okay, but then he got injured. He went back, he's come back, he's started and not looked great, injured again. And I don't know. It's a strange one for me, Gary. I would never have put an obligation to buy. I'd have put an option just to say, well, we can pull out a deal. But the obligation for me is always dangerous because somebody come in and do really well, like Cherny, and then you maybe not got the obligation because maybe Will's bugging off. He does really well there. We can get more money than the other clubs than we can for Rangers. But if Cortez maybe come in and maybe his club said, I think it was Nice, I don't know who it was, but they come in and said,
Lawns, when it
Lawns, maybe it was. They come in and said, right, maybe not going to get 4 million for him because he has worked shy or whatever, and Rangers are giving him that money, whether he does good or bad. So maybe want to rid him. You just don't know what's happening behind the scenes, but I still think it's a wrong move for us. I hope he proves me wrong because there'd be nothing better to do than a boy comes in and proves you wrong. He gets off there for the next season, and you're thinking this boy's good. But what we've seen so far, we can't really comment. All we can see is it doesn't look good.
I think that's it. I mean, he's obviously a good player. I mean, obviously potential. When he came, he was Colombian under-21, one of the best players at Lawns at bottom, and he was supposed to have something. Now, for whatever reason, that's not displayed, partly through injury. But we've not seen him play, so we've no idea what he's like, other than that 45 minutes when he was abysmal, Ricky, at Aberdeen.
Me as a club, I would Coppin. I would get Ferguson to speak to Coppin. I would speak to the player and go, look, mate, you have to go away in the summer and you have to get yourself fitter and sharper. I saw footage of him training in a village gym or something like that, so I don't know if that was him doing extra work away from Rangers to try and prove that he's trying to get his fitness to a certain level. But for Cortez, it's been going on now for almost 2 seasons where he's had these stop-start injuries. He's still a young boy. So if he's a young guy, like you were on about with Raskin, he should be going into pre-season, keep himself, and I think he will keep himself really fit over the summertime. And his time to shine is going to be pre-season when he gets minutes in pre-season. His season is over. We know his season's over. I don't think Ferguson, this is where I'll stick up for Ferguson. Ferguson doesn't have, I saw people today going, Ferguson should be playing Cortez. Ferguson should be, he's our player for next season. No, he shouldn't. Like, Ferguson should be playing Igamane, who deserves minutes, Finlay Curtis, who deserves minutes, players like that who deserve minutes. I understand the Rice deserves minutes. Players like Danilo have been given a chance and been absolutely looked like they didn't want it. Baz Rami doesn't deserve any minutes for the rest of the season. Cortez has had opportunities against Aberdeen and got subbed after 45 minutes. So it's all right turning around and go, these guys should be playing because in our heads we think they're good players on paper and they're going to be here next season. But that's bullshit. They've got to prove it again in pre-season and get into the team for the squad for next season. And that 100% frustrates the life out of me that people like will go against the manager here and think that just because they're going to be here next season, they should be in the team. On this occasion, I completely agree with Ferguson. And there is players in that squad that you look at and you think, Jesus, what was Coppin thinking about? Fernandes, not ready to play for Rangers, not even near.
I got him. I forgot he even existed.
Exactly. Fernandes, like, just shocking signings. And one thing I'll say is fans are right to be concerned about Coppin. I don't know how much he'll be involved in this rebuild, to be honest. I can see him moving on very soon. I think it's going to be Stenson and Felwell who's going to be putting our squad together with the analytical guys. Well, what our analyticals and their analyticals will be put together, and then that's how they'll be finding players for next season. But we cannot afford to have another Michael Beale, Philip Coman, Coppin, whoever it is that's bringing in these players. We cannot afford to have another summer where we sign 8, 9, 10 players and 6 of them are hit or a miss and only 4 of them are even because the same situation is going to be with injuries. We've got older players that need to be moved on, so the rebuild is massive.
Yeah, no. So, well, the game's done. Sorry, Scott.
I'd just like to say I've just been sent another thing. Daily Record updated 80 minutes ago saying, and
Kevin Muscat's the manager.
David Ancelotti post become Rangers manager with Maury's assistant. That's the Daily Record. They're all talking about it now, Sky Sports as well. So
Ricky doesn't believe it until Chris Shack says.
Who's let me go on Rangers review. Who's the new manager?
David Ancelotti.
Do you think Rangers have used the gospel?
It does. It's a good show.
No,
Good show
I think Chris Jack, not the Rangers Review. The Rangers Review's got people that have been talking absolute nonsense recently, but Chris Jack is the man for sure.
Heart and Hand said there might be something in it, and they've always so did four lads, so they're usually quite.
In a certain way,
Chris Jack is the until Chris Jack says it's thingy, I'm not believing it. I don't care. Even
just for talking sake, say it is, right? Say it is.
So who's the manager? Is Ancelotti the assistant or the manager?
No, he's the manager.
Francesco Mauri.
He's going to sit in the stand and every good game they play.
So do you think that'd be a good move for us because he's never been a manager? But
that's mental,
Gerrard was never a manager when he came, and people take him back. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. I think if you brought him in, he's got all his badges. No, like some managers, some teams are putting managers with no badges, and they can't have a manager in Europe. Do you know what I mean? But I think it's a piece whereas it gets everybody talking because he's highly rated all across the world, and I don't know if was because of what he's done personally or because his dad. It might be a bit of both, but I don't know. I think there might be something in it, but I'm starting to think it might be a good move for us.
Do you know,
the three of us say it'd be a left field appointment. We never thought it'd be somebody that was on the manager's tip list because all these names didn't really give you any hope, did they?
No. He's been what I'll say,
what I'll say, guys, is like it's whoever comes in, like who is guaranteed. You know, you've got to trust the 49ers and the project that they're bringing to the table as a group, rather than just the manager. Okay, Ancelotti's the manager.
I understand that, Ricky, but we're just asking your opinion. Would you like him brought in?
Care, it's impossible. Like even like I've been thinking about this so much. It's impossible to say on paper. No, I would rather Kevin Muscat. But does that mean that Kevin Muscat is going to work? Have you looked back, Kerr, as Rangers supporters, all the last appointments, right? We were happy with We were happy with Michael Beale. Well, at the time,
I was happy with if you check back your Apple podcast,
maybe I'll let you off on that one because I remember watching you back in the day when you were about 60 and I was about 28. But it's been very, very difficult. People were happy with Giovanni Van Bronckhorst, you know. So it's hard to be against it. If it is this guy and start slating him. But and I see people doing it. I'm reading X. It's the same people, mate. The negative nannies that are on X are already saying, Ancelotti, what the hell is this? This is never going to work. You know, like they're experts, like they're football managers. You know who's going to be. Well, I'm not going to name the names and give them it, but you know who's going to be on X pretending it's a bad appointment and all that. So you've got to give a guy a chance and back the new owners, the project, the manager. Hope they give him the players to build something. So whoever it is going to be, I'm going to get behind it until it's time to not get behind it.
No,
which will be the first game of the season.
I think that's the thing. Do you know what? All these managers, you could get his dad and you wouldn't know whether they succeed at the end of the day.
Exactly, Gary.
You've no idea.
Exactly.
There's guys like Andone, I've said that before, the guy went to Brighton, Thomas Franke, all these other guys, but if they came in before this club now, you'd be like, who's this guy? He's never done anything. So whoever comes in, you'll just need to say, and the proof will be in the pudding, as they say, when the players come.
The proof will be in the pudding. We've just got to back it and get behind it and see what happens and see. Hopefully, it's an exciting new era. I mean, it's something we were worried. To be fair to Chris Jack, he said it's going to be someone with no previous ties to the club. It's been said in the media as well that it's going to be someone completely left field that's going to shock us all. And it's looking like Kerr's right. And if that's the case, then wow, unbelievable.
And I think that's it. When somebody was in that CGM 55, Clabalint on paper was a good choice based on what his record was. So it didn't work out. Van Bronckhorst, based on his record, was a good choice. Didn't work out, So we have no way of knowing. Whoever it'll be, I think as it says in the comments a lot, you back them and got on for the ride really and hope it all works out.
Yeah, the only choice, you have to buy them, haven't we?
Exactly. You look at Leeds, man. They've done a good job so far at Leeds. They've got a big season coming up in the Premier League, but I mean, everything that they're promising, they're going to give them a massive war chest. They're rebuilding the stadium. The Leeds fans are absolutely buzzing with what's happened. So we just have to hope that they've said we're going to be completely separate to that. So there's no point in being negative from the start just because we think that we're all experts and say everything is pish because Ancelotti's never been a manager before. You've got to trust them and then judge when it's time to judge. When we're into the season with the type of football we're playing, the team that's on the park, the only thing for me is if he says he's looked Tav in the eyes and Tav is going to be his captain, then fire him immediately.
He'll do it for me. Managerial guys I've put on there was he at Everton with the director of football, and they may have been. I can't remember.
He was at Everton because I think Duncan Fergus spoke about him, and spoke about him briefly. But I think if I remember rightly, he was at Everton, Napoli. He's been at a lot of clubs, yeah. But you don't just go there because of your dad. Because if that was a case of Darren Ferguson, I went to Alec Ferguson. Do you know what I mean? He done it himself, but he's getting his coaching badge. He's done them in Wales. He done them in Wales as well. That's where he done most of his badges. Do you know what I mean? In Wales. So he probably will speak good English. To be fair, listen, it's a gamble. Any manager's a gamble. You just said that experience and experience. But I think if it happens, I'll be happy until I'm not happy, and it'll probably be quite soon after that's appointment.
It'll be good to see other people try to dig out the past and what he's done and play his tactical formation, that sort of stuff. If it does happen, because nobody knows anything about him yet. So that's one to watch from there. I suppose, Scott, the leaked home top came out today, so there's conflicting views on it on this podcast from our group chat earlier on. My take was it looks quite nice, but it's always hard to tell until you actually see it and touch it in the Ranger shop.
I think the two tops have been leaked, haven't they? Away one as well, with the white, red and blue across.
Was that the one with the guy that didn't know where it was?
Yeah, that one, and also the home one. I have to say I quite like it, but I agree with you until you actually see it up close, you don't really know, but I quite like it. It's kind of just a simple, plain design for me, and that's the way I think just home top should be, but I think it looks really nice.
Ricky?
No, well, to be fair, the leaked image was horrendous with the fuzzy camera and the weird, like, I can't say midget because I'll get suspended from YouTube, but the weird in between an adult and a child top, the size of it. Why? But then, who was it? The Rangers Review, fair play. No. The Rangers Journal, sorry, had an amazing. I don't know if it was AI they used. Well, no, they had a proper picture of both the home and away kit, and it looked fantastic. But it was very. It must have been Dougie with his magic computer pad again, because it was AI at its best. But it looked great. The actual picture of the kit, and then also the away kit looked fantastic as well. So it'll be, like you said, it'll be interesting to see once it does hit the shops and people can actually see it. The box. The one I saw was plain and it looked a lot better, but obviously it's going to have that box, whatever it is on the sleeve, and that ruined it a little bit. But no, nice. I mean, we'll see when it comes out. I do like a collar on a strip. I do like it, and I will probably be purchasing it. I think I will go for it. So we will see. But God knows who. You're right. Who these random people are they're getting off the street to model the Rangers top, so we don't go all mental when it's Tav and Dessers. Then. It is quite interesting. A waste of Rangers' money paying these models.
What happened to Red Bull? Is that not a thing anymore? The Red Bull?
No, well, it's too. No, it was never going to be this season, Gary, because all the strips are Jesus Christ, man. Imagine Colin Umbro going, you know that 100,000 strips you've manufactured. Where you need to change it to Red Bull. It's not possible. It was never going to be possible for time frame for this season. But it is all rumours that when they come in June, then we will see. The Journal did a podcast 30 minutes ago about Ancelotti.
We're finished here. Go and watch the Journal, and you'll find out about David Ancelotti, how he plays, what he does, and what his dad tells him.
I've got to get up early in the morning, mate. My dog's getting an operation tomorrow morning, so I've got to get up at stupid o'clock to go and get that sorted out. So no good. But I'll do it tomorrow when I'm in the vets. I'll be waiting for ages when he's high on drugs when they're doing the operation. So I'll sit and watch all that. That'll get us through that hours when I'm sitting there, mate. So that'll be good.
Scott, so we've got the last home game of the season on Wednesday night. I don't know if you're going. Dundee United it is, because I can never remember who it was. Now, I suppose, it's one of the things, it's always strange that in the last home game of the season, because at the end, for a lot of players, we don't know who, we don't know what ones, but for example, you've got Hadji, Lawrence, presumably, and arguably Balogun, maybe not Balogun, because he seems to be one of the ones that maybe a new contract, but also a whole pile of other players. Do you think that it should be one of those occasions when you say goodbye to a lot of the squad?
Also the management staff, Gary, forgot about them.
And the four Rangers legends, yep. That's it, yeah. 4 Rangers legends last game.
Listen, that's always the same at the last home game, isn't it? Yeah, I'm going on Wednesday night and I'll see what happens. Listen, you just want to get a good play well. I know it's the last home game. You want to play well and then let the players do the lap of on at the end, because you say some of them won't be here, some of them will be here. You can have a look at who's walking on the park, and if one's stay on longer than others, they'll start saying, "No, they're definitely leaving because they've stayed on the park 2 minutes longer than so and so." But you just don't know. We don't know who's going to be here. We know some will be away. We know some will return. It's out on loan. We don't know what ones, and we know some people will be brought in. But it's all ifs and buts at the moment. But obviously they've won. Yes, they won on Sunday, so that was a monkey off the back for Barry Ferguson. So hopefully Wednesday it does give Rice a start, maybe Curtis minutes and Igamane starts, and just play some of the guys who you maybe know, even if you're
Lawrence,
not, will be here next season.
We're going to last game.
Lawrence, I don't know. Lawrence has been linked with a few championship teams, especially Wrexham. That's where he comes from. So
would you play him? Give him a kind of send off, guys like that?
Maybe bring him on, but I'd rather play Curtis and Rice, and because they're for here next season. We've seen all these guys. We see what they can do and what they can't do. So I'd rather play the boys that are going to be here next season. But you give some of them minutes, don't you, at the end, just to say their farewells and depend. I don't know if it was busy yesterday. And Sunday wasn't that busy, but that was yesterday, wasn't it? I'm just hoping maybe there's a bigger crowd on Wednesday night, and it's not even to say thanks. It's just to give them a farewell around the park after it and look forward to next season for the fans anyway.
No, I'd agree. I think it's something I always remember, and you'll remember as well. In fact, I was sitting beside you, Scott. I think when Albert's left, do you know that the tears streaming down the face? It's one of those ones that always sticks in my head.
I always remember Loudrop, because you knew Loudrop wasn't definitely coming back because they already agreed
to join. He chucked it that season anyway.
Yeah.
He chucked it that season.
I know, but he was still, he's still probably one of the best players I've ever seen at Rangers. I mean, so.
Lawrence could be saying. Paul McCorrick says Lawrence has got an option to extend it for
He has got an option. I will remember the Scottish Cup final the most. I was at Parkhead, we lost to Hearts, I think. And a lot of them left after that season because I think Abacat was coming in the following season.
That was the 10 in a row season. The right then, the boys scored the goal back.
I remember. I don't remember many people leaving that game. I think a majority of people stayed just to clap all these guys, because I think maybe only one of the people who stayed was maybe Ian Ferguson, maybe a few others, but I think the majority of them were moving on.
And that's it. You know, one of the issues we've had this season, Ricky, is there's not really been a connection with most of the players. I think that's been the challenge. It's not like 3 years ago, when Morelos, Arfield, Kent, all these ones at the time were going, there was the crowd all stayed behind to see the last of our legends, or the last of our players that they would fell in love with. There's not really got that at this moment in time.
Yeah, the last thing these players need to do, Gary, is another lap of honour, man. Jesus Christ. And then back, and then off the pitch to the Union Bears at the end, like we did when we beat, who was it, St Johnstone in the League Cup. Are we going to see these scenes again? No, I mean, at the end of the day, it's up. It's one of the things. I'm obviously being sarcastic. It's the last game of the season. It's up to fans. Some fans are in that. They want to stay to the very end. They want to clap the players off. They want the players to do a lap of honour. So if they're doing it for their supporters who that's their thing, then I don't have a problem with it whatsoever. But the season's been an absolute disaster. Most of us will be celebrating when the season is over. Obviously, at the weekend, we've got another match. I'll stay up and watch the game tomorrow night. I'll still be looking forward to watching Rangers on the same as Kerr. I hope there's some changes in the lineup. I don't want to see the same lineup. I don't think Baz Rami would ever have a chance of starting, but I'd hope we'd see a few more changes. I'd like to see Rice. I like Rice in that number 6 position. I thought he was interesting when he came on. Barron has been excellent. I've really nothing against Barron, but just this is a great chance to see what Rice can do for 90 minutes with Raskin maybe playing a bit further forward the way he has been, and just have him in the six. These are opportunities. We need to see this now. I'm sure. I mean, Ferguson says he's not been told anything, but surely they've told him he's no getting the job. If Ancelotti's getting the job 2 days later.
Did you see, actually, I don't know if you've seen five-star promotions put out, Ferguson, McGregor. I've seen something on Facebook, Ferguson, McGregor.
2026.
So that kind of tells you something.
It's a full management team, basically, it's there now. Dodds, McCann, Ferguson, McGregor. No, I know it does.
That was a bit weird. That was a night at the Hilton. It's quite expensive as well. Like, it's a meal at the Hilton and stuff like that. Well, used to are going. We can officially tell you that used to are going for NARP that night to try and find some other podcasters. It's the Three Amigos, so now you need to try and get.
If it's a complimentary ticket, Ricky, I can't afford a meal at a table. Unless it's a microwave meal.
No, with the baseball cap in the Hilton.
It's quite expensive, but it could be interesting night. To hear the stories if they are going to be telling us what it was like.
Actually, I'll sell it rapid that if that is, because it will be interesting because people will want to hear that fresh stories, won't they?
Yeah, no, what's nice. I don't know how much they can say about actually what's went on because they've got that. What happens in the dressing room stays in the dressing room and stuff.
It's not until January, Ricky, so it could give him ammunition to slag a new manager if he's not doing that.
Yeah, well, you've also got that, but you've also got them, and they could tell us what it was like in the dressing room and whether the players have. Well, we know they've chucked it and stuff, but to actually hear how difficult it was to work with these guys and that don't have the same. I mean, these guys have been in dressing rooms with some absolute legends, especially Barry Ferguson, McCann. I mean, some of the teams and players that these guys, like you're on about Alberts and stuff like that, real Rangers legends, to see what is in that dressing room now must be hard for these four. So, and everyone loves a tale. I like a bit of gossip. So, if I was in Scotland, I would enjoy that night.
No, great. So we're coming to the end of the pod mainly because I can see it's getting dark here and I end up losing light. No, see. So we will be coming to the end. So I think we'll have score predictions, Ricky. Last score prediction.
Who are we playing? Dundee
United.
Dundee United. Let's go 3-0. Keep another clean sheet. The defence is a bit better. Get a bit better. And Dessers will score for sure. Dessers is tattooed on the team sheet, so he'll be shite and then score. There's no doubt about that. And go for Dessers, Igamane, and Cherny.
Scott?
3-1. Gary, I'm going with Tav will get his last goal at Ibrox.
Till next season, you mean?
I knew you were going to say that.
I think it's CJ 7-0. Remember that? Barry Ferguson's first return to Rangers was it 7-1, 7-0? Can remember that with Walter Smith at the time. Yeah, I remember being at that game.
So was that when Boyd scored 5 or something?
Boyd scored 5, I remember that. That was after Walter's return with it. And then just, I suppose, as we come at the end of the pod, just last thing. So there is a chance of Rangers winning a title this weekend, depending on how the results go. Rangers women beat Celtic yesterday. And I think, if I remember rightly, they're now 3 points behind Hibernian. So if they win against Hearts during the week, they then play Hibs at Ibrox on Sunday. And with the goal difference, so if both teams win and they go to Ibrox on Sunday, Rangers women can win the league by beating Hibs. I think that's it. So good luck to them if that goes well. Obviously, ideally, they need to beat Hearts during the week and hope to have a chance of doing it.
Did Hibs not give them a pumping just recently? Did Hibs not beat them?
They beat Hibs a few times. They seem to beat each other a few times over the course.
Hibs have done well. They've came for nowhere to be top of the league and for the women's game, which is good. It's good. Different teams are competing for the title and stuff, but hopefully Rangers can do it. It'd be good for somebody's winning a title this season. So and the groundsmen and the women.
Tickets are on sale. It's at Ibrox on Sunday. If you get a chance, potentially go and support the team, so a chance to win it. And also, good luck to well done to Laura Berry, who was SPL Young Player of the Year as well, which is pretty good going for them. Good congratulations to her. So, but although the men's team is struggling badly, the women's team still has an opportunity to potentially win a treble, I think, if they win the league. I can't remember it off the top of my head. So, as we come to the end of tonight's pod, just to remind people, live show on Friday night. So there won't be a show live on YouTube at 8:30. It will either come later on in the evening or the next day. We look forward to seeing those that managed to make it along to Oswald's. Scott, what time does it start again, just so I remember?
7:30.
Good, because I had no idea. That's fine.
You've not to be there at 7:30. You have to be there earlier, but it starts at 7:30.
Good. Right. So 7:30 for those that are going.
We'll try and record that, hopefully with some, but I'm not doing a live show for Oswald's because we will end up getting put off YouTube. So we'll record it and see how it goes.
If it comes to work that doesn't work, record, we might try and do something on Saturday or something before the final game of the season. We'll do that potentially. I've just made it up there, so hopefully you two are free. Just decided that there.
No, I'm free, no problem.
Gary's in a one-man pod.
So, thank you everybody for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe, as we always say, and we will see everybody again potentially Friday. Some of these at a live show, and if not, over the weekend at some point. Take care.